Hey everyone, it's Robin. I have a card to share with you that I made last night. Boy, I'm having to hold this really far back. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, that's better. This card I made for our son, and I'm going to mail it to him tomorrow. And I thought I would just kind of share with you how I made it. And I know there are quite a few of you that are, like me, are new with your Cricut and your Gypsy, and maybe enjoy watching somebody maybe pick up something here and there that they do maybe you hadn't thought of, or whatever the case may be. I just thought I'd share it with you. The tree and the squirrel, cute, came from the Cricut cartridge, and I ran the tree through the Swirls embossing folder by Cuttlebug with my Big Shot. And then this one, obviously the Swiss Dots, that's one of their popular ones. And this little squirrel is just the cutest. As you can see, he's got a little wiggle to him, and I have a tutorial for how to do this. I'm not sure if you're seeing the little spring back there, but virtually free to make, let me tell you. For a little over $1 or maybe $2 investment, you can make hundreds of these little things. So if you like the animation and the dimension of adding a little spring to your cards, be sure and check out that tutorial. You might find it helpful, and I'll have a link to that down below. The paper collection that I used, hold on, I will get that, is the Harvest Gathering by DCWV, and I used the 12 by 12 stack. And the Cricut, let me see, let me get it to the front cover. Most of you know this cartridge, but just in case, I will share with you. I'm trying not to lose my page. Okay, so the Create a Critter cartridge, and then on page 32, I cut this little squirrel with all his layers, this one, and the tail part, and his face. And then on page, okay, and then on page 68, see here, I cut this little tree, and I only cut the base and the trunk. I did not cut the leaves. I didn't cut the little face on the tree. Although that's, it's cute. I didn't want it for this project. So basically what I did was I took my Gypsy. Let me set this up. Give you something to look at while you listen. Now that you can see it, I took my Gypsy and I made 2 different layers. Okay. And let me just go to layer number 1, and okay. So this tree I cut at 4 inches, and then I made a new layer by pushing this little plus sign here. And okay, this little eyeball here, you can see that. This shows you, for those of you that like me are pretty new, that shows you what's going on layer 1, and I don't like to see that because it distracts me. So if you just close the eye, then it hides that. And then here are the different layers. I set them apart, and then of course this little acorn is one of the accessories on the squirrel page. But they're all to one group, but I separated them each into their own little 6-inch square based on the color of cardstock I was using, just to make it a lot easier for lining it up on my mat. And so obviously the base would be the darker color. This has a little pattern to it, and then this is a light yellow, and then this is kind of a terracotta color you can see here on my card. So just to make it easier, like I said, lining it up on my mat, I went ahead and just separated it like that on this mat. So let me go ahead and cut those, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have all my pieces and components for my card. So first thing, let me just go ahead and fold my card base. This is the craft card base from Hobby Lobby that measures 5 by 7 when folded. So the size of a traditional greeting card. I'm going to do it in landscape. And I have this paper from the Harvest Gathering by DCWV, and then this is just a piece of vanilla cardstock from, I believe I got this at Joann's. Okay, so let me set these over here. These are my little die cuts. And really quick, let me just put a border on here. I was going to do it ahead of time, but I thought, we'll just make the whole card together. So I'm really, truly enjoying my Cricut. There were some, you know, things I had to learn because with the E2 you can't update your expression with your Cricut, or with your Gypsy. You have to actually do it online, and I had not updated my E2. I didn't really have a need to. So that was a little learning experience, but obviously no big deal. Let me get my ATG gun here. Okay, I'm just going to adhere these onto the mat. Get these out of the way with my ATG. I'm going to make this super fast. There's nothing like a slow video, right? Okay, this is going to be the lower level, or the lower portion. And then this is going to be the upper, obviously. Ah, okay, don't do that, because now I have it in my scallops, which isn't a huge deal, but okay. Try and keep it on the paper. Okay. Try and line this up here. Okay, and then I'm not going to adhere this onto the card base yet. We're going to go ahead and assemble our layers. I went ahead and I inked all these with Vintage Photo, and I ran this through my Cuttlebug embossing folder. And then this is the Sizzix Swiss Dots. So I'm not sure exactly what they call it. I know it's obviously not the Swiss Dots. That's a Cuttlebug name. And I'm going to just use my Scotch Quick Dry to adhere this down. Okay, and then that's just going to go right here. I actually made this one a little bit smaller than my original one. I thought the original one was just a little too big. So I'm going to get some glue out here. It'll dry. Okay, now to do our little layers. I think because this is so tiny, I'm just going to go ahead and use my runner. This is the acorn. And then I did this opposite just to give it, you know, a little difference from the original one. And I made it smaller. See, that one's really big. This one's small. And I did the pattern paper opposite. Because I never like to make two cards or two projects exactly the same. Now this little guy, this is the top layer. I need to punch out his mouth. But I'm not going to punch out the eyes because personally I don't particularly like the eyes. I think they're too far apart. And plus we're going to add googly eyes. So I'm not going to worry about that. Let me just... put this down. Okay, and then let me get this too, just to fill in around the ears. Okay, that's good enough. And then, so set this on here. Okay. Now when it's lined up, then I like to just flip it over, press it down. I love that zip, that Scotch because it dries clear, because I am always getting goobers out of where they're not supposed to be. Okay, and then I'm just going to use this, and then I'm going to fill in the neck area and then the corners. It's super easy. Oh, I should have actually laid the tail down first. So when you do yours, you know, if you decide to make one, lay the tail down first, or the little stripy accent to the tail. It's actually supposed to tuck underneath here. I don't know if I can finagle it. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Alright, now let me get my little googly eyes. These are just some from the dollar store. They're not assorted sizes, but you know what? They're all cute, so I think they're just what I was looking for, but you might want smaller ones. I think it makes them look cuter when they have smaller eyes, or bigger eyes. Here's one. I'm just using glue dots to adhere the googly eyes. These mini glue dots are the perfect size, so they work out really good. Okay, so here's his eyes, and then I'm just going to have him holding the little net right here. And so I'm going to put a little adhesive on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to add some raffia. I'm just going to put this around one time. I'm going to open it up a little bit, and I got this from Wild Orchid Crafts. This is actually too long of a piece, but okay, so just go like this. This stuff holds really, really good with just snail. It's really good. Not like ribbon where you have to kind of be careful. I actually use Scotch tape when I use ribbon, but this is just, it holds super, super nice because it's paper. I didn't want it to be so predictable, so let me open this side up a little bit more. Okay. Alright, now we're ready to adhere this onto our card base. And this will all get held down anyway when we add our other elements. I'm just going to use my ATG gun. I have about 1/8 of an inch border, or 1/16 of an inch border around the sides here. And then I'm going to use my Scotch, because of the texture, I'm going to use the Scotch Quick Dry to adhere that onto the card front. Okay, and then this little guy, I'm going to use my 1-inch punch. And I'm going to punch out 2 circles. I'm using my font. I'll be using this in a minute. Okay, so we just punch out 2 of those. I'm using a 1-inch circle punch, but you don't have to. You could just cut some squares or cut some circles. They're not visible, so it really doesn't have to be perfect. And then I have some 21-inch gauge wire here. I shared this in my tutorial before, so I'm not going to go into detail about it, but I'm just going to wrap it around 3 times. This is my craft knife that I'm using, so just to give you an idea, pencil would work fine, paintbrush. Wrapping it around 3 times. I don't have my wire cutters here, so, well, I do have them here, but they're not handy at my desk. Okay, so then I'm just going to kind of shape this to be somewhat of a tight spring. Okay, like that. And then because this has a little funny end on it, I just got to take that off and slide that off. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If I'm going too fast, I'm so sorry, but I do have this on a different tutorial. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just take my glue gun here, and I'm just going to go around one of the coils. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to set that in the very center here. And just hold it for a second. Get my bone folder. Just going to push that down. And this is what will give us the little animated action spring. Okay, and now I'm going to take the top and do the other one here. Okay, You can hear my daughter, she's just coming in from outside. She was playing with the dogs. Okay, and so now I'm just going to hold this just to let the glue cool off a second, and then we'll adhere it to the card and the squirrel. So cute. It just makes a really nice, fun autumn card. And alright, I think this is ready, so I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of the circle here. Okay. And I'm going to put it in the put that in the center of my squirrel. I'm just going to hold this here for a second. Let the glue cool. I love this paper collection. It is just, to me, it's the perfect autumn paper. And while I'm waiting for this to cool, let me grab my adhesive remover. Okay, and I'm going to remove that adhesive. Remember, I kind of went crazy with the ATG gun. Just kind of take that off because I can see it. You probably won't see it when the squirrel's on there, but I know it's there. Okay, and this is a little bit wonky, so let me just straighten this out a little bit. Okay, now I'm ready to put adhesive right here and then attach it to the card. Just about done. I don't need that much adhesive, but then I'm just going to kind of set him kind of close to the tree, but almost where it's grounded onto the raffia. Okay, and now I'm going to set this aside for a second to cool off. And I have this font. I printed this. This one's a little bit big, but I printed off several different sizes with my computer. And I think I used an 18 on my previous card, and then this one's a 12 and a 14, and this one's a 20. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use the 12 or the 14. And all I'm going to do is just take my, let me set this over here and cut this. So I usually do, I have the Fiskars trimmer. Let me fix my ring, it's bugging my finger. Okay, I have the Fiskars trimmer, and I know that if I line this up to where I can barely see it underneath the guide, that's just about perfect. Just cut it and then do the same. Let me take this off. Do the same on, whoa, what did I do? On this side. Okay, so this is just how, if I'm going to make like a banner or something, it's just an easy way for me to cut that. And then I'm going to trim this off a little bit. I don't need that much. And then I'm going to go ahead and make the flag, or the pennant. And, okay, got to ink it up. So let me grab my tool here. And then I'm just going to pop up a little bit of either end with foam tape or dimensional, and then we'll be done. So let me grab that. I'm going to put a little piece of, let me just kind of fold this a little bit. Put a little bit here. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little bit on this side. Take the liner off. And then you can just put whatever sentiment you want in the on the inside of the card. I'm going to line that up here, and I'm going to kind of make it bounce a little bit. Set these down, and there you have it. Super quick and adorable. You could use this just as an encouragement or birthday, anything. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.